#1 since 1998 on television, ESPN Radio, and the World Wide Web. This is the Pro Wrestling Report with your hosts, the man they call Meathead, Frank Cosentino, and Damian Nelson. Professional wrestling news, opinion, and information from fans for fans.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Pro Wrestling Report Interactive, a special edition of Interactive, David, and our email box is full, so let's get right to it. Thank you to all of you who have sent in emails to us via pwrshow.com. Again, we try to get to most emails. We can't get to all of them, so be patient, but we do appreciate you sending in those emails to us and your great questions, and we'll start with a comment and question from Corey Langford. Corey says this, David: I'd like to start off with a big thank you for what you guys...
St. Louis?
I don't believe so.
Okay.
I would like to start off with a big thank you for what you guys do. I love the show and appreciate the effort you guys put into it. Thank you very much for that. I'm a huge wrestling fan and watch both TNA and WWE. I'm not partial to either, just whoever's hot at the moment. That being said, I have two questions. Number one, do you know if TNA has been talking to RVD? Well, Eric Bischoff has made that quite clear that he has had conversations with RVD, including being, Hulk Hogan was on his radio show and said flat out, we want you here in TNA.
Well, I think it's only a matter of time. Whoever opens the checkbook the quickest. RVD's getting paid big money to go over and do tours international.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's getting huge money. More money than he would get for, let's say, a month's worth of appearances for either company. So it's a matter of time. He's going to get the itch. He's going to want to be there. I'm sure he wants to see how the layout is going to be in TNA.
Yeah.
Then he'll make maybe his big return at one point. But yeah, absolutely.
Second question, why isn't Triple H a heel? I think he's one of the greatest heels ever and is underutilized as a face. Think about it. All the great faces of the Attitude Era were helped by their feuds with Triple H. WWE wants to create more superstars. This is one of the best ways to do it. That from Corey Langford.
Or were the strong baby faces helpful to the heel Triple H?
I guess that's sort of in here, but not really.
I mean...
And the way the question's worded, it's saying that same thing.
Well, no, it's saying that Triple H was such a strong heel that it helped the baby faces.
But
I think that Rock and Austin were way over as babies than Triple H was a heel.
Yeah.
But there's one reason why Triple H is not a heel right now.
Why is that?
2 words. Glow sticks. You don't sell all those glow sticks if you're a heel. And he gets a nice hefty cut of all that merchandise.
It's a lot of money in glow.
Oh, tons. And I'm not talking gorgeous ladies of wrestling.
Godiva!
No Mount Fiji here.
Check on eBay and just see how much those glow sticks go for, and you'll have some idea of how much money they're making off these things.
Big dollars.
Yeah.
Huge.
Thank you very much, Corey Langford, for that email. Let's go now to Latvia, David Hero, from a person by the name of Artis, who says, I'm a huge TNA fan. I haven't missed any of their shows or pay-per-views for the last 2 or 3 years. I have a question. Am I the only one who misses the World X Cup? And what do you want to see better, Kaz or Suicide? David, your thoughts on the World X Cup? I don't remember the last time we've seen it.
I don't really miss it because I can't think of the last time I saw it.
Fair enough. Kaz or Suicide?
I think Kaz... I like both characters.
Mm-hmm.
I think they dropped the ball with Suicide when they never merchandised the masks and the T-shirts properly.
Well, keep in mind, it's not a choice. Suicide's still going to be a part of the company. Kaz is back.
Very small part. I think Kaz is far more marketable because it's hard to sell a Suicide character
to anybody with money.
And I've thought that from the beginning when they called him that. And now that the video game is non-existent,
right?
Go back to Kaz, good-looking guy. He'll definitely draw women into the show. They can, it's just a better call.
Thank you for that email from Latvia Artis. Next is from Cleo, Michigan, a fan by the name of John, who sends this in. I've been hearing rumors about another WWE draft. Who do you think needs to switch brands? I think the following changes should be made. For example, Jack Swagger to SmackDown, simply because the WWE has shown his push on Raw is dead. Santino to maybe either SmackDown or NXT.
Can you imagine him as a mentor?
Yes. It's comedy gold right there.
Him and Punk, what's his name? Otunga.
And the list goes on and on. Just want to see who you guys think should jump to a different brand. That from John from Clio, Michigan. Loaded question. So many people to talk about. I think we saw a little bit of it with the disbranding of ECW and the move of those superstars to their respective brands. I think a lot of those moves made sense, and it's going to give those talents the opportunity to showcase their talents on their brands. But as far as people who should move, I think you're really only looking at the big names, and they keep swapping them anyways. You look at Miz and Big Show still working both shows with the Unified Tag Team titles. You look at Jericho and Big Show who are working both shows with the Unified Tag Team title. Batista is apparently on Raw and SmackDown now, sort of, kind of. You know, so they're blurring that line quite a bit more.
I would love to see the Hart Dynasty go to Raw. Let them feud with Legacy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, hey. That is a very good point.
Here's the thing. John Cena's never going back to SmackDown. You know, Randy Orton is not going to SmackDown. Who? We're going to flip-flop.
Yeah. The Undertaker certainly.
I would like to see Jack Swagger go to SmackDown. I think he could definitely do some damage there.
All right.
And Sheamus will be going to SmackDown too.
Will be or should be?
Will be.
John from Clio, Michigan, thank you very much for that email. Let's go now to Canada. Bruce Adams sends us in. Do you think that Bryan Danielson should have signed with TNA instead of WWE? In my opinion, he would have been better off in TNA. I feel he will be misused in WWE like so many Ring of Honor wrestlers. In the WWE, Ring of Honor wrestlers are only a flavor of the month, and then they are eventually shown the door, and don't let the door hit you in the butt on the way out. Or, if that's the case, he will eventually go back to Ring of Honor where he is the best wrestler in the world there, which in my opinion he still is, and also multiple-time Ring of Honor world champion. Thank you very much for that comment. Bruce, will WWE ultimately misuse Daniel Bryan?
Obviously that was written before the airing of NXT. Not at all. The guy's a star. He is the main character on NXT. And if that's flavor of the month, then God bless him, because he's set.
Let's go now to an email from Japan, David Hero. Douglas Wong sends this in. Do you agree that there's a big lack of indie federations around? The reason I ask is because it just seems to me that it was much easier to build a character on a wrestler back then than it is today, when there are so many indies around all the time. And with so much lack of it today, it seems like these younger stars are struggling to win over the crowd with the lack of knowledge and time to build their character that the indies would provide them with. Would you agree that you would need all that under your belt before you jump to the big ship? That from Douglas Wong in Japan.
Well, what helped tremendously back in the day was the different territories. You had the Crockett's, you had the Ganyas, you had the Harley Races, you had Dick the Bruisers. You know, all these guys with their different territories. There's still a lot of indies out there, just the quality of the indie wrestlers is not very good. And then when they do get signed to developmental, they're taken down to a wrestling factory.
And the quality not being good because they haven't really had the chance to hone their skills in those territories, as you mentioned.
Right, because they would travel, like, they go from Atlanta, up to the Northeast, then to the Midwest, and out to Oregon, down to California, Texas. They hit all these different territories. Now, like locally around here, it's Milwaukee, Chicago, Minneapolis, Green Bay. Mm-hmm. That's about it. Yeah. And the indie pay is terrible.
Right. But if you get paid.
If you get paid. But, and the other problem is right now, FCW, as far as, the developmental territory, they teach you to wrestle for a TV show, not for a wrestling event. It's completely different.
Douglas Wong from Japan, thank you very much for that email, David Hero. That is today's edition of the Pro Wrestling Report Interactive. Be sure to tune in again soon. We'll have a brand new edition for you, answering your email questions. And if you have an email, question, or comment, feel free to visit us at pwrshow.com to submit that question to any one of the staffers of the Pro Wrestling Report, and we will potentially select your email for air. Just remember, in those emails, give us your name and where you're from. Those go to the top of the pile. So, for David Hero, this is Damian Nelson saying thank you for tuning in to this special edition of Pro Wrestling Report Interactive.